Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. We're at the Association of U.S. Army Conference in Washington, D.C. and visiting the BAE Systems booth. Have a chance to talk to their Vice President, Jim Miller. And Jim, good to see you. What's the conference like? Seems like a lot of traffic here.
Yeah, it's really busy. It's good to see the crowds back here after COVID. And it's really super turnout. We've been really busy on the booth. Lots of good visits. So we're pretty excited about the attendance this year.
Very good. Now, if you would, maybe you could overview some of the products and services that your company provides to the U.S. Army.
Yeah, so our part of our business, we work in combat mission systems, which is a subset of BAE. We do the combat vehicles for the Army, the ground combat vehicles, like the ones behind me that are tracked. So we do the AMPV, which is the Army's multi-purpose vehicle. It is the replacement to the M113 armored personnel carrier. We do the howitzers, the self-propelled howitzer for the Army. We do the Bradley fighting vehicle. We're probably best known for the Bradley fighting vehicle. And we do the M88 recovery vehicle for the U.S. Army. So those are the big vehicle programs we do for the Army. There's, off screen here, there's a bunch of smaller things we do. We also do some projectiles, some precision-guided munitions for the Army, and things like that as well that are pretty important to us. So.
Maybe tell us, the audience, a little bit about the Bradley fighting vehicle. It's been a mainstay of the United States Army and for a number of years. What is its capability and how do you keep it up to date?
Yeah, great question. So we have the Bradley A4 version. The M2A4 is the current version that we're upgrading and delivering to the Army right now under contract. That vehicle is essentially the fourth variant of Bradley, which I think everybody's familiar with the Bradley. It was first fielded in the late 80s and early 90s to the U.S. Army. So it's been a workhorse of our combat formations for a long time. The Bradley A4 brings that vehicle up to a new standard, keeps it more modern, makes it more lethal, more mobile, and also gives it the ability to deal with some of the new power demands that we have on supporting command and control and those kind of heavy computer processes that go into the vehicle. So very recent upgrade, 8.4, it's going out. And then just behind that, we're doing, we have two Bradleys we're updating with hybrid electric drive for the U.S. Army. That's pretty exciting, getting the opportunity to look at, can we make things like the operational capability, the mobility, the maneuverability, the impact on sustainment of logistics, how we can improve that for the Army with a hybrid electric drive on Bradley. And that's currently being tested right now.
Very good. And you had a big piece of equipment behind you on exhibit. Must be interesting to get it up here to the convention hall floor. Got a Red Cross on it. Tell us a little bit about it, if you would.
Yeah, behind me is the AMPV, the Army's multi-purpose vehicle, the medical evacuation variant. And if you recall, the AMPV is the replacement vehicle for the M113, which has been the stalwart for a long time since the Vietnam era, I guess, the way you'd say it. But the AMPV behind me is the medical variant. It's the ambulance. It's a battlefield ambulance. The intent of the vehicle is if a soldier gets wounded forward in a fight where we're fighting with tanks and Bradleys, there's an armor-protected way to evacuate that soldier back to a place where they can be treated and evacuated. And so it's a pretty critical variant. There's 4 other variants on AMP. There's a medical treatment variant, so you can actually evacuate a soldier with this vehicle to a treatment vehicle, which allows a doctor to do initial life-saving on a soldier and before you put him on a helicopter or something and get him to the rear. There's also a mortar variant, which provides mortar fires to the Armored Brigade combat team. There is a general purpose variant. Some people call that a first sergeant's variant. It's designed to be a vehicle that you can use to move troops around, move food around, move supplies around in, get them up forward so it's undercover and protected with armor. And the final variant is the mission command variant. And so right now we have a bunch of vehicles that are called M577s and M1064s. They're variants of that M113 that was created at the end of the Vietnam era. And that those command post vehicles are forward with the companies, the armor companies, the infantry companies, and the battalion command posts. Those are going to be replaced by a variant of the AMPV as well.
Okay. Jim, just a quick thought about your career in the defense industry.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty exciting career. I was in the Army for 28 years. I came over here to BAE. I've been working for BAE for about 9 years now, working with these heavy vehicles. And I tell you, there's a great deal of pride and honor in what we do at BAE, that we support our services so closely, and particularly the Army in this case. The vehicles that are behind me, I served in their predecessors, and I'm really excited to see these vehicles going out into the fleet now, where our future soldiers will have the opportunity to be more survival, more lethal, more mobile than we ever were before. And so for me, that's pretty exciting to be here.
Jim Miller from BAE, thank you for your service to our country. Good to see you today.
Thank you, sir.
It's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia.